danger, there's a fascist in the White House. It's up to us to drive them out. Danger, danger, there are fascists in the White House. It's up to us to drive them out. Danger. Out now! tonight.
6
6
p.m.
p.m.
at MSG. 6 p.m. at MSG.
Get him out of here! Get him out of here! That's right! Get him out of here! Let's go! Get him out of here!
Yes.
Put it in there. They didn't vote him in there, put him in there. It has nothing to do with
Tonight. Trump has out now. 6 p.m. at MSG. Trump is gonna be here. Trump is gonna be here. All right, let's do this mic check. Mic check. Mic check. This is a call.
She could do it off the
Everyone in New York City. Who doesn't want to live? Who doesn't want to live? In Trump's fascist America. In Trump's fascist America. We gotta get out in the street. We gotta get out in the street. They booed him in D.C. They came out in Chicago. New York City. What's up? There should be thousands in the streets tonight.
There should be thousands in the streets
Okay,
tonight.
now I'm going to say this. Too many people are sitting at home and they're waiting. You're waiting for the elections. You're waiting for somebody else to do it. Meanwhile, there's children locked up in concentration camps. There's an open white supremacist in the White House. It is up to us. Okay, 1 second. It is up to us. So my check with this. Then check this with me. It's up to us.
It's up to us.
It's up to us.
It's up to us.
New York City.
New York City.
Come out tonight.
Come out tonight.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
at MSG.
at MSG.
Trump is gonna be there.
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 Get your ass out.
Get your ass out.
Get your butt out. Out now.
Trump and Pence.
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 Out now. White House. An open white supremacist.
White supremacists.
Who has no regard
Who has no regard
for the rule of law.
for the rule of law.
An open white supremacist
An open white supremacist
that wants to have
that wants to have
an open police state
an open police state
where you go after protesters,
where you go out and protesters,
where black and brown people
where black and brown people
are killed
are killed
with impunity.
with impunity.
Do you want that?
Do you want that?
Do you want that?
Do you want that?
Then you gotta come out tonight.
Then you gotta come out tonight.
7.
But then tonight,
You stay at home.
you stay at home.
Don't tell me
Don't tell me
you hate Donald Trump.
you hate Donald Trump.
But tonight at 6,
But tonight at 6,
when he is here,
when he is here,
you're at home.
you're at home.
You gotta get out.
You gotta get out.
We are organizing
We are
for
organizing
a different kind of protest,
a different kind of protest,
like what they did in Hong Kong,
like what they did in Hong Kong,
like what they did in Puerto Rico.
like what they did in Puerto Rico.
Everyone
Everyone
who can hear my voice,
who can hear my voice,
do this chant with us.
do this chant with us.
Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
But I'm going to speak to everyone who's listening. Listen, we have a danger here. We're facing a dangerous fascist regime. You have fascists like this, don't pay attention to it. But you have people like this that are being ramped up to go kill people in churches. Okay? We're not gonna engage with him. We're not gonna give him our voice. But here's the deal. There's 45 million people like him, that Trump is ramping up to go and commit mass murder, to go and instill a fascist America. And our side is like milk toast. They have passionate intensity, but our side is sitting back and waiting. This is what we have to do today. We are going to go rouse the people. We know that there's millions of people who hate this, but they're hoping that somebody else is going to take care of it. There's anger out there, and right now we're going to call it all out. I think that there's people who want to come protest Donald Trump tonight. Who wants to come protest Donald Trump when he's here at Madison Square Garden tonight? We're going to march to Trump Tower. So you're going to do this chant with me, and then we're going to go. It's going to go march to Trump Tower, drive them out of power. I think it's everybody knows Donald Trump has got to go. Everybody knows Donald Trump's got to go. Everybody knows Donald Trump has got to go. Everybody knows Donald Trump has got to go. Change your plans this Saturday. Change your plans this Saturday. Act in the name of humanity. Act in the name of humanity. March to Trump Tower. March to Trump Tower. Drive them out of power. Drive them out of power. Everybody knows Donald Trump has got to go. 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 Change your plans this Saturday. Change your plans this Saturday. Act in the name of humanity. Act in the name of humanity. Everybody knows Donald Trump has got to go. 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 March with us to Trump Tower. March with us to Trump Tower. Drive him out of power. Drive him out of power. Because everybody knows Donald Trump has got to go. Everybody knows Donald Trump has got to go. March to Trump Tower. Drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower. Drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower. Drive these fascists out of power. Drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower. March to Trump Tower. Drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower. Drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower.
Come on, guys. Get in line.
March to Trump Tower. Drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower. Drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower.
Drive these fascists out of power.
March to Trump Tower. We gotta drive these fascists out of power. March to Trump Tower.
Drive these fascists out of power.
March to Trump Tower.
Drive these fascists out of power.
March to Trump Tower.
Drive these fascists out of power.
March to Trump Tower.
Drive these fascists out of power. Bueno, esto reventó porque... Trump is out now.
stop you for a brief minute.
Let's go, Lou. Get him out.
Let's say, we're gonna all just say fuck Fox News, okay?
Say fuck Fox News.
Fuck Fox News.
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 Fucking fascist. Son, on the street.
Out now.
Trump and kids.
Out now.
Trump and kids.
Out now.
Trump and kids.
Out now. Out now.
Marching to Trump Tower. We're gonna drive these fascists out of power. We're marching to Trump Tower. We're marching to Trump Tower.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Give it up for people in Harlem.
For people in Harlem
Who just marched here.
who just marched to him.
say out now. Say it with me, out now. Out now.
Out now!
White supremacy.
White supremacists!
Trump and Pence. Trump and Pence.
Out now!
Trump and Pence.
Out now!
Orderly
Trump, Pence, out now!
All right, y'all. We are here with the Out Now movement. We are here because Trump Pence is a fascist regime. Can you guys hear my voice?
Yeah!
All right, so I want you to know some of us just gathered and we marched up from Union Square. We marched up past fascist Fox News Network. We marched up here to Trump Tower, and we're just getting started because we're going to Madison Square to say Trump Pence out now. Not just out of New York City, but out of the White House. But we were joined here by some folks who marched down. Where are they at?
We here!
All right, we got the contingent from Harlem. Who's going to give a shout out from Harlem? Let's give some love to the crew from Harlem. And we want to put you on the mic. Is it Luan? Is it Carl? Who's speaking from Harlem? All right, they need some love and some coaxing. Let's hear it for Harlem out now.
Let's hear it for Harlem!
You got Carl Dix getting warmed up. He's going to come over here. So I want you to know it's very important. Donald Trump has been a white supremacist for decades. For decades, okay? And a big part of how he entered political life and public life was through whipping up a lynch mob against the Central Park Five, now known as the Exonerated Five. I want people to know that the housing project that Yusuf Salaam grew up in Harlem had to change its name because it had been so demonized by the lynch mob that was whipped up in the press and by racists like Donald Trump, who has never apologized and who has continued this lynch mob. Okay, we're here with the theme today, No Police State, because Donald Trump spent the last week rallying in front of police chiefs from around the world, and calling for and planning a surge, a military-style surge against the inner cities and the criminals, as he calls them. He talked about Chicago being more dangerous than Afghanistan, okay? And let's remember, he said he could clean up Afghanistan in a week, but 10 or 20 million people would have to die. Then he said, while he's in Chicago, comparing Chicago to Afghanistan, he said he could clean up Chicago in a day. And he announced green-lighting $600 million worth of military surplus equipment to the police forces in this country. This is unleashing a reign of terror on top of a reign of terror. It is being sanctioned by Donald Trump, the white supremacist in the White House, and it's a key part of fascism. So we are happy to have anybody and everybody in the struggle to drive out this fascist regime. But there is a certain poetic justice and beauty to having a contingent come down from Harlem, in particular, to be part of driving the Out Now movement. So that's a long introduction, but it's a lead up to putting Carl Dix on the mic here to give a message from the contingent that came down from Harlem. This is Carl Dix, a founding member of the Revolutionary Communist Party, a co-founder of RefuseFascism.org, a longtime freedom fighter. Give some love to Carl Dix.
And wait for somebody else to take care of this for us. We cannot wait for impeachment. We cannot wait for next year's election. We have to act on this now. There are people in concentration camps on the border with Mexico. There are hundreds of children who were torn from their parents' arms who have still not been reunited with their parents. There are white supremacists being unleashed who have hunted down and murdered Mexican people and Mexican American people in El Paso, who have hunted down and gone after black people. The right of women to have an abortion or even access to birth control is being targeted by these fascists. Rights are being taken away from LGBTQ people. They are escalating the destruction of the very environment of the planet that we live on. And Trump has told you, when he said Trump loves cops and cops love Trump, he's talking about unleashing police who already get away with brutalizing, murdering, and framing up people that the gloves are off and they ain't have no gloves on in the first place. That there's going to be an even more vicious clampdown. This cannot be allowed to happen. It's got to be stopped, and it's on us to do that. We gathered in Harlem in front of the state office building. Some of us came there for it. Others discovered it and said, I got to get with this and march with us. We were joined by religious forces, by people from the community, by some activists, and we rallied, marched, and chanted in Harlem. We came up with what I think might be a new chant, because along the way we was chanting, don't tell us wait another year, don't tell us it can't happen here. Trump, Pence, out now. Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence,
Out now. And we are going back out in the streets next Saturday in Harlem, while you all go out in the streets next Saturday from Union Square. We will meet again. We're going out the week after that. We're going to build this up. We're going to spread it. We're going to get it into among religious forces. We're going to get it out to more youth. We're going to get it out in more communities. Maybe there'll be other communities that join in and bring their own feeders. This is what we got to be going for. We got to go from the numbers we have now to much more massive numbers. We got to go from week after week to day after day, because this regime must be driven from power. Humanity calls on us to do that.
That's right.
And we must answer humanity's call. We do not want to be the kind of people who stood by and let these horrors go down, or just registered our protests of them and then sat back and hoped something else would deal with it. We are determined to take action to drive this regime out. We will not back down. We will not give in. You got to be with us, but you got to be with us calling on other people. We see people who were rocking to our chants, who waved their hands to us, and we said, you got to move from waving your hand to moving your body out here with us. You got to move from bopping your hand to the beat to marching to the beat of our slogan, and marching with us and calling on others to do it too. So I'm going to give the mic over here to Emma and let her take it up from here.
All right, give it up for Carl Dix. And Harlem, people came from Harlem. All right, how's everyone feeling?
Great.
God, you guys were beautiful out there.